Hi there, my name's Aaron Short and welcome to my YouTube channel, and today I'm talking about the Neural DSP Quad Cortex. Is it finally where it needs to be? So this morning I had a comment from a viewer: should I trade in my Kemper stage for a Neural Quad Cortex? And the Quad Cortex has been in my mind lately, so I thought I'd do a video about this today. My answer to them was be very careful, because the Kemper has been around for so long, it's so mature, and Kemper is still releasing updates for it. They just released a very big update for the stage and the Kemper series, which is really impressive. And some people also argue that the foot switches are better laid out and it's got more functionality, like an always-on tuner, an always-on looper. The Kemper is a great product, and I do miss mine sometimes. I almost bought one again a few months ago. But I committed to the Quad Cortex because of its form factor and the fact that I can plug my vocal mic into it. So I'm really hoping they'll add vocal effects to that thing, and that'll be exactly what I want personally. But I think it's in a great position now compared to where it was when it was released. Recently, I made a video saying that products should not be released too soon, and I feel the same way about the Quad Cortex. However, when 2.0 came out, it fixed all that for me, and I then sold my Kemper and I committed to the Quad Cortex. And I think for me, that was the right thing to do. Once again, I love the form factor, the size of it, and I really love the tones of it. I think the amp sounds in there are much more pleasing to me than the other units that I've tried. Of course, new firmware is always being released, but the Quad Cortex really works for what I do. The form factor and the XLR inputs as a singer are really useful for me. So I decided to commit to that. I still feel the updates could be faster, but the last few months have been very interesting. So 2.1.0 was recently released, and I made a video on that of my favorite features, and I'll link that below. So check that out if you haven't. Neural have now released 2.1.1 just today, in fact. And this is what they do. They release the major update, so 2.1.0, and then they'll release the bug fixes a few weeks later. So this is 2.1.1 with bug fixes. And I have to say, when they do release an update, they do add a lot of very useful features, and they do make up a lot of ground when they release these updates. In my opinion, the updates are very solid and fill a lot of gaps. They also release the bug fixes very quickly as well. So while you should never really update to a 0.0 release if you're a gigging musician and rely on the Quad Cortex for your shows, at least they are fast at patching bugs. So I appreciate this, and I've also seen on their website under the news section that there's some other massive updates coming in the next few weeks as well. So let's take a look at that together. So if we go back to the August 2023 development update, we can see that 2.10 was released and 2.1.1 was in the works. It's released today, so do update that if you've got a Quad Cortex today, because bug fixes are very important. And then they go on to say that the Quad Cortex desktop controller, Cortex Control, will be released on Monday, October 9th. This will be a public beta, so anyone will be able to download this and try it out. This is really cool. Personally, I've been waiting for the desktop editor, mostly so I can use it in my videos about the Quad Cortex, but I think it'll be a great addition. Most of the other units have editors, and from the previews we've seen of the Cortex Control, it looks really good. So I have high hopes for this, and I'm really excited for it. But it also goes on to say we'll also be sharing details about plug-in compatibility, which we've all been waiting for since release, in September as well. So in the next month or so, we should have a public beta of Cortex Control and information on the plug-in release and possibly new firmware as well. And we just had a new firmware and a bug fix released. So in the last few weeks, we've had a lot of activity from Neural, and I think, personally, in my opinion, they're doing really well. They're adding things that I've been missing from it. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still more that I want. So as a singer-guitarist, I'd love to see them do more with vocal effects, vocal harmonies, intelligent harmonies that track the guitar chords. I'm pretty happy with the amp sounds. In fact, I'm very happy with the amp sounds, but more effects. And of course, more of everything. I mean, again, as a solo performer, I'd love an even more advanced looper. I'd like to see them go more into that kind of creative stuff for the solo musician. But my question for you is, what do you think is missing from the Quad Cortex at this point? So I'm excited when I read all this news and think about what's coming in the near future. I don't agree with products being released prematurely. I think Neural were new to hardware and they had to start somewhere, but I'm not making excuses. I made that statement a few months ago and I stick by it. Looking at the last few weeks of the Quad Cortex, I do think great things are happening. And we're not seeing much new stuff from the other competitors like Line 6 and Kemper. There's no new hardware releases. There may be at NAMM in January, and maybe that's why Neural are really trying to get this thing in shape before the NAMM show. Who knows? I'm just guessing. But my question to you is, have you switched from a Kemper or a Line 6 or a Fractal to the Quad Cortex? And if not, why not? And if you have, are you as impressed as I am at these updates that have been coming out the last few weeks and that are coming soon? Or are there still things that you're missing from the product that you think need to be added? Please let me know in the comments below. I'm really interested to know. And as soon as we get more information on the plugin release and as soon as we get the desktop editor, I'll be showing that on my channel. So if you're interested in the Quad Cortex, please subscribe and ring the bell, because once I've got that editor, it'll be so much easier for me to make videos on the Quad Cortex and show it to you via the on-screen editor rather than filming the pedal. So thanks for watching. Take care and be well, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye.